Insights hosted by the IPS. And today we're in conversation with Dr. Selim Raihan. Dr. Raihan, Bangladesh, like Sri Lanka, is a small economy in the South Asian region and kind of faces the same external factors as Sri Lanka, mainly in terms of the role that China and India probably plays in each other's economy, particularly Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So let's start with maybe China's role in the Bangladeshi economy, particularly in recent history. What sort of role has China started playing in the Bangladeshi economy, and what effect has that had?
Thank you. I think most important thing is that for Bangladesh economy to prosper, especially moving to the higher growth path, it's very important to attract foreign direct investment. So as much Chinese investment Bangladesh can attract in many of the economic zones which government has now planned to set up, I think that would be very important. In addition, there are Chinese money is now coming in for infrastructure development too. So I think these are the two major areas where, when you investment, FDI can help your manufacturing base, your industrialization process, as well as the infrastructure, both soft and hard infrastructure, which can also help your industrialization process. I can see the Chinese role there because as China is also having its transformation in its economic reallocation of farms in different countries. So as much as Bangladesh can attract those investment, I think that could be very beneficial for Bangladesh.
So the counter to that is that India may feel threatened by China's growing influence in the region. How does India respond to that, particularly in terms of the Bangladeshi economy?
There is a political economic factor, of course, and that is something like the tension between India and China. And being a small country like Bangladesh, between these two large elephants.
Right.
So it's a difficult task for the politicians to keep the balance between these two. And I think this is something very important. The politicians, they need to master on the skills, how they really can tackle these issues. One thing is very important that, in terms of development, Bangladesh needs both these two countries, both China and India. Both these two countries are the major trading partners in terms of import sources. Bangladesh actually imports from China and India. Altogether, if you mix them, I think it's more than 40% from only these two countries. So these are the two major countries, as well as these are the two countries where Bangladesh wants to increase its exports to very prospective countries, very large markets. So I can see that there are huge potentials for economic gains. So now it's the task of the politicians how they can keep the balance. There are of course tensions, especially Bangladesh borders with India. There is no border with China, but despite that, there is a Chinese presence in Bangladesh in terms of investment, infrastructure development. So I think this is something what the politicians need to actually look at and solve it.
And from a policy perspective, what is Bangladesh doing to balance these interests?
I think the policymakers, they try to tell these two countries that, look, we need both of you. So it's not that we have one country to be prioritized over another one. In terms of proximity, of course, India is our just next door neighbor. So definitely there are some influences. You can't avoid that. But in terms of trade, in terms of investment, I think China is more important than India at this moment because China has huge amount of money. So I think this is something, a pressure which is actually on the politicians there, and so far they have, I would say, done it well, keep the balance. They did not really make it very explicit that we are aligned with only one country and we are not liking other country.
Right.
Some incidents of tensions we can see there have been, but I think those were not really very serious. So I think that if the politicians can continue what they have been doing in the future, so I think that can really be helpful. So keeping the balance between these two countries.
Like you said, Bangladesh seems to have been playing this game quite well. Knowing what you know about Sri Lanka as well, what could Sri Lanka do better? Quite briefly, what could Sri Lanka do better to maybe balance these geopolitical interests between China and India?
It's a difficult question to answer. It depends on because it's a deeply rooted political economic issues. The way the orientation of the politicians, their alignment with different other countries, their interests. So I think that's something very important. I think Bangladeshi politicians so far, I would say, that have shown the kind of maturity that they can keep the balance between these two, between China and India. My humble submission or suggestion to Sri Lankan politicians would be that probably they can learn something from Bangladesh, like not to agitate other country, like not to just not to term or to mark yourself that you are more interested to have alignment with one particular country, not with other. Because of course Sri Lanka also needs both China and India for its development. I can see the kind of development projects what is happening in Sri Lanka. Huge Chinese investment has come up. Also Sri Lanka needs India because of the proximity, because of the trade potentials. So I think this tension will always be there. In development, always there are tensions, both economic tensions and political tensions. How do the political actors and elites can solve these tensions? That will actually depend on their maturity. I'm quite sure it's a dynamic process, and that will, over time, that maturity will grow.
Thank you very much, Professor Raihan.
Thank you.
And on that note, please join us for another segment of Expert Insights hosted by the IPS. Thank you.
Thank you.